I was gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. The radio crackled in my ear, a sharp voice cutting through the static. Unit 12, we've got a report of a large bear injured near Elk Meadow. Locals say it's limping badly. Possible gunshot wound. My heart dropped. I pressed the radio button fast. Copy that. I'm close. Heading there now. I didn't even think twice. This was my territory, my responsibility. My old Ford rumbled down the dirt road, dust flying up in the side mirrors. The heat was suffocating already. The late spring sun pounding down harder than usual. I felt my shirt sticking to my back. But I didn't care. As I drove, something hit me hard. Elk Meadow. That's where it happened 2 decades ago. I saved a bear there once. A massive male with deep gashes from a trap, barely clinging to life. I was younger, stronger then. I spent hours freeing him, stitching his wounds, watching him limp back into the trees. I'd never forget his eyes, wild, but grateful. The thought made my chest tighten, and not just from memory. A sharp pinch of pain radiated across my ribcage. I gritted my teeth, brushing it off. No time for weakness now. The radio squawked again. Be advised, Unit 12. Locals say the bear's acting aggressive. I muttered under my breath. Of course he is. Wounded animals always are. 10 minutes later, I skidded into Elk Meadow. The place looked just like before, wide open, fringed with pines, a broken old fence half buried in weeds. I killed the engine and stepped out, boots crunching on dry grass. The air was thick, buzzing with cicadas. I scanned the meadow with binoculars, my breath catching. There he was, near the tree line, massive, hunched over and clearly in pain. His fur was matted and dark with blood near his back leg. Even from here, I saw the scar along his side, an old, familiar scar. My stomach twisted. No way. Could it be the same bear? I lowered the binoculars, my mind racing. 20 years was a long time, but bears can live that long. And that scar, it looked just like the one I patched up all those years ago. I called in on the radio, my voice shaking slightly. I've got eyes on the bear. He's injured, near the trees, not moving fast. Approaching on foot. Copy that, Unit 12. Be careful. Do you need backup? I hesitated. I should have said yes. But something in me, pride, stubbornness, made me click back. Negative. I've got this. I grabbed the med kit from the truck and started walking, slow and steady, every sense on high alert. The bear lifted his head as I got closer, eyes locking onto mine. He growled low and deep, a warning. I froze, hands raised, heart hammering. Easy boy, I whispered. I'm not here to hurt you. You remember me? Of course, that was crazy talk. But some part of me believed he did. His growl softened, just a little, but his eyes stayed sharp, watching every step. I inched closer, my boots crunching softly in the dry grass. The pain in my chest flared up again, sharper this time. I paused, clutching at my ribs for a second, breathing hard. Not now, damn it. The bear shifted, sniffing the air, eyes narrowing. I could see the blood trickling down his leg, fresh and thick. He was suffering. I crouched slowly, laying the med kit on the ground, keeping my eyes on him. Let me help you, I muttered, more to myself than to him. The wind picked up, rustling the pines around us. For a moment, everything felt still, like the world was holding its breath. I was close enough now to see the tremble in his muscles, the rise and fall of his chest. He took one slow step back, but didn't run. That's when my radio squawked again, loud and sudden. The bear flinched hard, roaring and rising up on his hind legs, eyes wild with fear and fury. I stumbled back, tripping over a rock, hitting the ground hard. Pain shot through my side. The radio crackled. Unit 12, status check. I fumbled for the button, gasping, I'm okay. Just startled him. Hold tight. The bear was still standing there, breathing heavy, eyes locked on me. For a moment, we just stared at each other. 2 old souls, both a little broken, both refusing to give in. I knew I was in over my head, but I also knew I wasn't walking away. Not yet. The sun was hanging lower now, throwing long shadows across the meadow. I stayed frozen on the ground, catching my breath, watching every move that bear made. His chest heaved with every breath, and for a second, I thought he might charge. But he didn't. He stayed still, glaring, as if deciding whether I was friend or foe. Then I heard a truck rumble behind me. Tires skidded on gravel, and I knew who it was before I turned. Josh, young, eager, always ready to jump in without thinking twice. He jumped out of the truck, eyes wide. Jesus, Sem, are you okay? What the hell happened? Quiet, I hissed, waving my hand low. Don't spook him. Josh froze, eyes darting to the bear. His face went pale. That thing's huge. Yeah, I muttered, trying to stand up, my legs shaky. The bear shifted, head low, still watching us like a coiled spring. Josh whispered, "Should we call for backup?" I shook my head, swallowing hard. No time. He's bleeding bad. We have to calm him down before he hurts himself. Or us. Josh kept his eyes on the bear. What's the plan? I grabbed a rag from my pocket, waving it slowly, speaking low and steady. Same as always. Slow, no sudden moves. Talk to him. Let him smell us. The bear growled, taking a step forward. Josh took a quick step back, nearly tripping. Hold your ground, I barked. He's testing us. Josh's breathing was shallow, but he stayed put. You think he remembers you? I kept my eyes locked on the bear. I don't know, but he's in pain. That makes him unpredictable. The bear suddenly roared, loud and deep, shaking the trees. Josh flinched hard, gripping my arm. Sem, we gotta back off. No, I said firmly. If we run, he'll chase. Trust me. I stepped forward slowly, knees bent, my hand out. Easy, boy. We're here to help. The bear huffed, eyes blazing, but he didn't move. Sweat dripped down my face. My chest was tight again, a sharp pain biting deep, but I pushed through it. Josh was whispering prayers behind me. Man, this is insane. He's gonna kill us. Not if we stay calm, I said, stepping closer inch by inch. Look at his leg. He's hurting bad. He knows we're not the enemy. The bear grunted, shifting his weight, wincing as his injured leg buckled slightly. I saw the blood seeping from a nasty gash. God, it was worse than I thought. We need to sedate him, I muttered. Hand me the tranquilizer. Josh fumbled through the kit, hands shaking, finally passing me the dart gun. You sure about this? Do I look sure? I shot him a quick glance. Just get ready to run if he charges. I raised the gun slowly, steadying my aim. The bear's eyes locked onto mine, unblinking. My finger tightened on the trigger. Suddenly, a branch snapped behind us. Both Josh and I whipped our heads around. A damn deer had bolted through the brush, spooked by all the noise. The bear roared again, louder this time, and lunged forward a few feet, teeth bared. Move! I shouted, pushing Josh hard to the side as we both scrambled back, heart hammering. The bear stopped short, snorting and pawing the ground, eyes wild. I aimed fast and fired. The dart hit, sticking just above his shoulder. He roared in rage, turning in circles, swatting at it. Get to the truck, I yelled. Josh didn't need telling twice. We sprinted back, diving behind the doors as the bear thrashed and roared. Minutes felt like hours, but slowly, the sedative started to work. The bear's roars turned to heavy pants. He staggered, then dropped to his haunches, swaying, eyes glassy. I leaned against the truck, clutching my chest, breathing hard. Josh peeked over the door, eyes wide. Holy hell, is he down? Not yet, I gasped, watching closely. The bear finally collapsed, breathing deep and slow. Josh exhaled loudly, sliding down to sit on the ground. That was way too close. I nodded, wiping sweat from my brow. Yeah, but we did it. Josh looked at me, eyes narrowing. Sem, you don't look so good. I waved him off, but my vision blurred for a second. I'm fine, I lied. Let's check his wounds while we have the chance. Josh hesitated, then nodded. Okay, but after that, you're sitting down. You're scaring me. We grabbed the med kit and approached the bear slowly, making sure he was out cold. My hands trembled as I examined the deep wound. We need to clean this up fast. He's got a long road ahead. Josh worked silently beside me, his hands steadier than mine. As we worked, I felt my strength fading, my breathing ragged. But I kept going. I had to. This wasn't over yet. I was kneeling beside the bear, my hands deep in gauze and antiseptic, when I noticed Sem was too quiet. His breathing had turned ragged, shallow. I glanced over, and my stomach dropped. He was pale as a ghost, gripping his chest, sweat pouring down his face. Sem, I said sharply, dropping the kit. Sem, hey, look at me. His eyes fluttered open, glazed but focused on me. "I'm fine, kid. Just a little winded." "Bullshit," I snapped, grabbing the radio from my belt. "This is Unit 7. We need immediate medical assistance at Elk Meadow. Ranger down. Possible cardiac event." The response came fast. "Copy that, Unit 7. Medical team en route. ETA 15 minutes. Hang tight." 15 minutes felt like a lifetime. I knelt by Sem, shaking. "You're gonna be okay. Just stay with me." He tried to smile, his lips trembling. "You did good out there, Josh. Brave. You kept your head." "Sem, shut up," I choked. "Save your strength." But he shook his head slowly. "Listen, you need to understand something. This job, it's not just a job. It's a promise. To them, to every creature out here. You don't walk away when it gets hard." His voice was fading. I squeezed his hand hard. "You're not dying on me, okay? Stay with me." His eyes fluttered again. "That bear. Same one 20 years ago. I knew it." I felt tears sting my eyes. "Yeah, I think he knew you too." The minutes dragged. I kept talking, anything to keep him awake. The bear lay unconscious beside us. The woods eerily quiet now except for my panicked breathing and the distant echo of sirens. Sem coughed, gasping. "Josh promised me. Keep fighting. For them." "I promise," I whispered fiercely. "But you're not going anywhere yet." Suddenly, gravel crunched. The medical team burst through the trees, medics jumping out fast. "We've got him," one shouted, rushing to Sem's side. They hooked him up to monitors, voices tense. BP's crashing, pulse thready. "Get the stretcher." I stumbled back, letting them work, my heart pounding. One medic caught my eye. "What happened?" "Heart, I think," I said hoarsely. "He's been out here in the heat too long. We were helping a bear." The medic nodded grimly. "We'll do everything we can." They loaded Sem onto the stretcher, moving fast. I grabbed his hand one last time as they lifted him. His eyes flickered open for a brief second. "Don't forget, Josh." "I won't," I said, voice cracking. "I promise." Then they were gone, sirens fading into the distance. I stood there, alone now with the sedated bear, the meadow silent around me. My hands shook as I wiped my face, staring at the spot where Sem had lain. The weight of responsibility settled hard on my shoulders. I looked at the bear, breathing steady now, the wound cleaned and wrapped. "We're not done yet," I whispered. "I won't let you down." I radioed in again, voice steadying. Bear stabilized, holding position until further notice. The sky was starting to darken, and a breeze rustled the trees. I sat down hard on the ground, exhaustion hitting me all at once. But I stayed alert, eyes on the bear, waiting for news, for backup, for whatever came next. The ambulance tore down the gravel road, sirens wailing, as Sem lay motionless on the stretcher. Medics worked furiously, one of them pressing oxygen over his face, another checking vitals. "Heart stopping," one shouted. "Charging clear." The defibrillator paddles slammed down, jolting Sem's body. Again and again. The tension inside that cramped space was suffocating. Everyone on edge, fighting for one man's life. But Sem's heart was stubborn. It flickered weakly, barely holding on. Back at the meadow, I was pacing like a madman, eyes darting between my radio and the bear. The sedative was wearing off, and I could see the bear's muscles twitching. He groaned, his eyes fluttering open, dazed but alive. "Easy, buddy," I murmured, gripping the tranquilizer gun just in case. But something strange happened. Instead of panicking, the bear slowly lifted his head, sniffing the air, and turned toward the direction of the medical center. I swear to God it was like he knew. Suddenly, the bear rose, shaky but determined, and began limping away, straight toward the trees toward town. "Hey!" I shouted, stepping forward. But I stopped myself. He wasn't running wild. He was moving with purpose, eyes locked on the horizon. My gut twisted. I didn't understand it, but I knew I had to follow. I radioed in. "Bear is mobile, heading southeast toward the main center. I'm following on foot." The response crackled in. "Are you serious? Stay back, Unit 7. But I was already moving. Meanwhile, at the medical center, the doctors were still working, adrenaline pumping. "Come on, Sem," one muttered. "Stay with us." But the monitors told the truth. The lines flattened. The beeping turned to a long, piercing tone. One doctor sighed heavily, shaking his head. Time of death, 7:43 p.m. Silence settled over the room like a heavy blanket. Everyone froze, staring down at the man who had given his life to this place. Outside, the sun was dipping low, streaking the sky with orange and purple. That's when the bear appeared. He lumbered out of the woods, limping heavily, heading straight for the medical center's back lot. Staff froze in place, eyes wide with disbelief. Someone shouted, "Get inside!" But no one moved. They just watched. The bear stopped at the back door, breathing hard, eyes scanning as if searching for something or someone. He let out a deep, low groan, the sound of mourning if I've ever heard it. I caught up, breath ragged, heart pounding. "Sem's gone," I whispered, my voice breaking. The bear turned his head slightly, eyes locking on me. Then, unbelievably, he sat down, right there in the lot, like a silent sentinel keeping watch. For a long time, no one spoke. The bear stayed put, unmoving, as night fell around us. Staff peeked through windows, some crying, others just stunned into silence. By morning, the funeral was set up quickly. A simple wooden casket in the small graveyard near the ranger station. Surrounded by people who loved and respected Sem. I stood with the others, numb, watching as the ceremony began. And then we heard it, the sound of heavy footsteps. Gasps rippled through the crowd as the bear appeared again, walking slowly toward the service. No one moved. No one dared stop him. He approached the casket, eyes heavy and tired. The air felt electric, charged with something no one could explain. He circled the casket once, then lay down beside it, resting his giant head on the earth, quiet and still. People cried openly now. Even the toughest rangers wiped their eyes. The preacher's voice trembled as he spoke final words. "We gather here today to honor a man who gave everything for these lands, and for the creatures within them. Some bonds go deeper than words. And today we've all seen it." The bear stayed until the last prayer, until the final handful of earth was dropped onto the casket. Only then did he slowly rise, casting one last long look at the grave. Without a sound, he turned and lumbered back toward the trees, disappearing into the wilderness, leaving us all with our hearts in pieces. That image of the bear paying his final respects would stay with me forever. Weeks passed, but the image of that bear lying beside Sem's casket never left my mind. The story spread like wildfire. News crews showed up, people from all over sent letters and messages. But for those of us who knew Sem best, it was never about fame. It was about finishing what he started. I threw myself into the work. Every morning, I'd stop by his grave, kneel down, and tell him what the day held. Sometimes I'd stay longer, just talking like he was still there. The grave became a quiet place of strength for me, and I wasn't the only one. One crisp morning, just as the sun broke through the pines, I saw movement near the grave. My breath hitched. The bear. He had come back just like before. He stood there silently, staring at the stone marker, then lay down, resting his head on his paws. We stayed there in silence for a long while. Man and bear, united by loss and something deeper neither of us could explain. This became a pattern. Every few weeks, the bear would return. Always quiet, always respectful. It became legend among the rangers. New hires would hear the whispers. "Watch for the bear. He visits Sem's grave." Some thought it was just a wild animal's habit. Others believed it was something more. I didn't bother to explain. I knew in my bones what it meant. Spring turned to summer, then fall. One evening, after finishing a long patrol, I sat by the fire with the other rangers. We talked about Sem, his stubbornness, his wisdom, his endless patience. And as we shared stories, I realized how much of him lived on in all of us. One rookie, a kid named Tyler, asked, "Josh, do you really think that bear remembers?" I smiled, looking out at the dark tree line. "I don't think. I know." Tyler nodded slowly, eyes wide with wonder. "That's incredible." It was more than incredible. It was a reminder that kindness, real kindness, leaves marks deeper than scars. That winter was harsh. Blizzards rolled through, and the work was grueling. But I kept going, thinking of Sem with every step. On the hardest days, I'd hike out to the grave, no matter the weather. And every time, standing there, I felt like I wasn't alone. Months later, on a quiet spring morning, I was out checking fence lines near the far edge of the park when I spotted something unexpected. A female bear with two small cubs, nosing around a patch of wildflowers. My heart skipped. It was rare to see them this close, and even rarer to see a new mother so calm. I kept my distance, watching in awe. The cubs tumbled and played, full of life. The mother lifted her head, eyes meeting mine for a brief, electric moment. I couldn't explain why, but I felt a connection, like nature's way of saying, we remember. Later that night, sitting alone with my thoughts, I realized something. This was the cycle Sem had always talked about. Life, death, and rebirth. The work we do. It matters not just in the moment but far beyond. The bear who came to Sem's grave. His legacy. These cubs. A promise of the future. I visited Sem's grave again that weekend. Kneeling down, brushing away fallen pine needles. Saw some new life out there today, I said quietly. You'd love it. A breeze rustled through the trees, and for a moment, I could almost hear his voice, that low chuckle of his. I smiled, standing up, my chest full of something heavy but good. As I walked away, I glanced back one last time, and there, deep in the trees, I saw a familiar shape. A large bear watching, silent, still. I lifted my hand in a quiet salute. We'll keep it going, I whispered. I promise. And then I turned, heading back down the trail, the sun breaking through the canopy, lighting the path ahead. A new season was coming, and we were ready.